productivity of any organization depends upon how good you manage both production as well as operations. So before I start my session, I would like to know from all of you, what is the manufacturing you know about, and what is production? Are they same?
No, sir, not absolutely not, because the manufacturing is a process where a production is a system.
Okay. Any other answers?
Manufacturing only involves the manufacturing of the product, sir, where the production involves various things like managing a system, right from
Exactly.
the materials to the machinery and the manpower and everything.
Right. You are correct to some extent. So let me tell you, there are tangible and intangible products. Manufacturing always deals with tangible products. Tangible products in the sense you can sense them, you can touch them. They are the physical objects you are going to manufacture. So manufacturing always refers to the products which are tangible in nature. And it uses both men and machinery in order to transform the material into one form or the other. And also, manufacturing is one of the various steps of production. Production is the superset. If I look at on the other side, production, it deals with both the tangible and intangible products. What do you mean by intangible? Can anybody quote the difference between a tangible product and intangible product?
Maybe without
not have any physical presence, sir.
Yeah. Any example, any mechanical component you can quote? Any mechanical component you can quote as tangible? It can be a bolt, or it can be a nut, or it can be a threaded shaft, or it can be a stepped shaft, or whatever it is, a gear, pulley. These are all the tangible products. Then what do you mean by intangible product? Which you cannot.
Human resources.
Pardon?
Human resources.
Not exactly.
touchable, sir. We cannot touchable.
See,
Sir, like our assets.
you are not going to develop any physical entity. That is, let us suppose that hospital services are there, or automobile servicing is there. These are all intangible products. Still, we consider it as a production. Automobile servicing also I can consider as a production, isn't it? But it is developing intangible product there, not a tangible one. It is offering some service to the customer. It can be a restaurant. It can be a hospital where a lot of production is happening, which is developing intangible products. So here, that is the basic difference between manufacturing and production. Manufacturing always deals with developing a tangible product, whereas production is a superset where it considers both tangible and intangible products in nature. You can sense them or you cannot sense them also. It mostly intangible products are service-oriented products. They are servicing in nature. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So while dealing with the tangible or intangible products in production, it may or may not use men and machinery in the process or in the production process. I may not be requiring machinery sometimes. Just manually I can handle, I can serve a customer, isn't it? So in that case, I may not be requiring machinery. It's not a compulsion. Whereas in manufacturing, it is a must, it is a compulsory that you have to use some machinery or the equipment to transform one material into other form. So production is a larger term than manufacturing with a broader scope and operation. Okay, so this is the basic difference. See, mostly we use these two words interchangeably. We say manufacturing technology or production technology. We normally use interchangeably, but the basic difference is production is a broader term where it not only deals with the tangible products, it also deals with intangible products. Are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Then, what is production management? Our subject here is production and operations management. We consider both the terms, production management as well as operations management. Let us see what the difference is. The production management involves effective use of resources to create acceptable products. What do you mean by acceptable products? Whatever you develop, that must be useful to the customer, isn't it? So production management involves effective use of resources. Effective use of resources in the sense, what are the resources you have in the industry? Men, material, mission, is it or not? These are the basic resources you have for conversion of material into a product. So you need to effectively utilize them. You have to optimally utilize all these resources. What for? To create acceptable products. Acceptable means they must satisfy the customer needs. So in this case, the raw materials are being transformed into value-added products. So value-added products are those which satisfy the customer needs. You are adding some value to the raw material, thereby converting it into a useful product. So be it a product or service, the idea is to create something that will strengthen the relationship between organization and customer. If you are satisfying the customer, customer will bind to the organization. So he will become a frequent customer. He purchases the products developed by your own organization. So that much satisfaction you are supposed to give. So normally production management has functions like scheduling, production control, cost and quality control, and maintenance of missions. This we might have discussed earlier also. Scheduling means it's like a timetable. Which operation, on which mission, at what time you are going to do. So that is scheduling. And then production control in the sense, whatever the schedule that you have made, everything is going according to your plan or not, you need to have a production control. So there must be a regular checks whether the raw material is being transformed into useful product at various stages as per the schedule that you developed. Then the third one is cost and quality control. You need to take utmost care in controlling the cost. If the cost of manufacturing increases, your selling price will increase. The customer may not be able to afford your product. So try to minimize the cost without compromising on the quality. So this is the third aspect production management look into. The fourth aspect is maintenance of missions. At regular intervals, preventive maintenance is needed to avoid breakdowns, sudden breakdowns. So these are the basic functions of a production management. Okay, the purpose of production management is to convert the raw material into value-added products. Then what is operations management? So operation management generally it implies the management of day-to-day business activities so as to ensure smoothness and effectiveness of operations in the organization. What it involves? It involves administration of production, manufacturing, and provision of services in an organization. Look at these things. I told you operation management is a little broader than production management. So what are the additional things it is taking care? It is taking care of forecasting. We discussed in the last semester about forecasting. It is predicting the demand of your product. And then product design, the design of the product also taken care by operations management. And financial, how effectively you have to use the financial resources, the availability of the finance in purchasing the raw material, in purchasing the machinery. All those things will be taken care in the finance management. And then strategy. What are the strategies that you follow in your industry to deal with different customers? We have frequent customers who regularly gives the orders to your company. There are occasional customers. Very rarely you will find the orders from them. Okay. And also sometimes you may receive the orders on urgency. So how to deal with these different types of customers? You need to have your own strategy. So all these things are taken care by operations management. Whereas the earlier one, production management, was restricted to only shop floor. The other business activities are also taken care by operation management here. So am I clear the difference between production management and operation management? Anyone?
Sir, is there any link between operations research and operations management?
Pardon?
Sir, is there any link between operations research?
Yeah. Operation research and operation management, you say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Said operation research is a subset of operation management wherein we actually deal with the optimization techniques in different stages. Let it be scheduling activity. Let it be an assignment activity, assigning a job to a particular mission. So everywhere we are going to optimize our tasks in the operation management. So for optimizing the tasks, we need operational research. We may deal with LPP programs, assignment programs, transportation programs. These are all meant for minimizing the time and reducing the distance traveled. So it is a subset of operation management. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, at a glance, let me tell you, production management versus operation management. These two are so closely intertwined that it is very difficult for them to differentiate. Very often we use these terms interchangeably, production and operations management. They're so closely connected, but still they are different. What they are. Production management covers, administer all the activities which are involved in the process of production only. It always deals with the production process. Whereas on the other side, operation management, it entails all the activities involved in the production of the goods, delivery of services such as material management, quality management, maintenance management, process design, product design, and so on. All the other activities of the industry comes into picture here. So production management is a part of operation management here. Production management is restricted to only the process of production. Now, let me define the combined term, production and operations management. How do we define that? Production and operation management is a process which combines and transforms various resources into value-added products or services in a controlled manner. I hope you understood the definition here. So, which combines and transforms various resources. Various resources means men, material, mission, money, management, everything comes into picture here. So, the combination of all of them, all these resources, what for? To transform them into value-added products. It can be a physical product or it can be a service. In hospitals, actually are not going to manufacture anything. It is a service-oriented activity. Therein also, we are going to use different resources. Different resources are combined to transform them into value-added service there. It can be a product or it can be a service. In a controlled manner. Why we are using this controlled manner? You need to offer the product or the service to the customer at an economic price. And you have to deliver the goods on time to the customer. So there must be a time optimization as well as the cost optimization and effective use of resources. So that's the reason why controlled manner is added here. So this is the definition. Production and operation management is the process which combines and transforms various resources into value-added products or services in a controlled manner. Now, here I would like to give a glance about the syllabus, what we are going to discuss here. So only about the course title I discussed so far, production and operations management. But in this course, what we are going to study. So here, only the important points unit-wise I have kept for quick grasping. The detailed syllabus I am sharing on the canvas. Okay. Now, unit 1. In unit 1, what we discuss? We discuss about types of production systems. I think several times you might have come across this already. Job shop production, batch production, mass production, continuous production. Their advantages, their limitations, all those things we discuss here. And then history of operations management also we discuss. Right from the World War II, how this operation management has progressed, has developed, all that history we discuss here. And then we discuss about the product design, the steps involved in new product design. Those things we discuss here. So these are all come under unit 1. And in unit 2, we discuss about value engineering. So there is a concept called as value analysis and value engineering. The purpose of this is how to reduce the cost of production. Okay. So value engineering always deals with what is the concept or what is the concept you are supposed to develop to minimize the cost of producing a new product. That is value engineering. Whereas value analysis means for the existing product, which is already being manufactured on the shop floor, how can you reduce the cost? So that is called as value analysis. For the current production, if you are analyzing and reducing the cost, that is called as value analysis. Value engineering means for any new product that you are going to introduce, well before you are going to presume everything and then trying to cut down the costs. So that is called as value engineering that we discuss here. And then we also discuss about one important diagram, FAST diagrams we call them. FAST diagram is nothing but functional analysis system technique. So here for any product, we go for a detailed analysis. Why? See, every product is manufactured maybe with a combination of several components in it. In using FAST diagrams, we analyze why a particular component is included in a product. Is it necessary? If it is not there, whether the functionality of the product is reducing, what for we are adding. We question ourselves why it is needed, or when it is needed, or how it is made. Like that, we question ourselves through these FAST diagrams, and we will try to eliminate the unnecessary operations. So when you eliminate the unnecessary operations, the product cost will come down and you can save time also. So all those things we discuss in FAST diagrams. And then the third part in this is facility location and layout. Suppose we are going to start a new industry. What is the best location? Where you have to start your industry? That depends upon the type of the product that you are going to manufacture. So we identify the location for our factory. And similarly, what is the layout inside the industry? How we are going to arrange your missions? That is called as layout. About the layouts also you might have discussed earlier in maybe in different courses, like product layout, process layout, fixed layout. All those layouts we discuss here in Unit 2. And then Unit 3. I think in the last semester, I gave a brief outline about Unit 3 in some other aspect in automation, I think. Do you remember aggregate planning? Do you remember the term aggregate planning? Anyone? No one?
Okay.
So aggregate planning is, suppose this, you are going to tell about your annual requirement. See, this year I am going to produce 10,000 products. In an aggregate way, I will say 10,000 products I am going to manufacture. Okay, how do you say that? Depending upon the forecasting and also
Orders.
assured customer orders, isn't it? You might have already received some customer orders for the next year. And also your forecasting tells about some number. So combinedly, you are going to tell aggregately 10,000 is going to be my next year production. That is called as aggregate planning. So the techniques of aggregate planning we discuss here. And aggregate planning is divided into master production schedule, if you remember. Master production schedule gives you the category wise number of products you are going to produce. Suppose you are going to produce 4 different types of products in your industry. Type A, how many products? Type A maybe 3,000. Type B maybe 4,000. Type C maybe 1,500. Type D maybe 1,500. All of them put together 10,000. So aggregate planning tells you aggregately 10,000. Master production schedule tells you category wise how many you are going to produce. So that master production schedule actually becomes input for material requirement planning. We call it as MRP. So we discuss about MRP and different techniques in that. And also we discuss about manufacturing resource planning. We named it as MRP2. And also we discuss about just-in-time systems. So these are the important topics in Unit 3. And coming to Unit 4, 2 important shop floors we discuss. Flow shop and job shop. So in flow shop, the material will always move in a unidirection way. That means always it moves forward. It may or may not use all the machines on the shop floor, but it never come back. Always it moves in the forward direction. Unidirectional movement, we call that. So when the material is always moving in the unidirectional movement, how to schedule it? Those techniques we discuss here. And also in case of job shop environment is one where every day the product may be changing. You cannot arrange the missions in a particular order. So in such a case, how to schedule the jobs? So we are going to discuss about some important problems in the 4th unit on flow shop and job shop. And in the last unit, we discuss about project management. I hope in any other project management course also you have CPM PERT. Yeah, you have another course, project management. In that
Yes,
also
sir.
you are going to come across these topics. It will become a repetition. Here we go more detailedly. There in that course, only a brief outline will be given. Here we go in depth. So here, this is a critical path method. CPM means critical path method. And PERT means project evaluation review technique. These 2 techniques we learn here. CPM we apply for deterministic timings. When you are sure of timings, time for manufacturing, then we go for CPM.
Principal Lipton.
Yes, can you mute yourself? So other one is a PERT, project evaluation review technique. This is applied when you are not sure about the timings. For the first time you are going to do a particular product. So where you are not sure about the timings, then we apply PERT. So these techniques we discuss in this. So this is the broad outline of our syllabus, 5 units. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let me tell you, once you study this course, what are the outcomes expected? So you will be in a position to describe the concept of operation management and product design at the end of the course. And also you will be able to evaluate and rank plant locations and recommend suitable layout for establishment of a new plant. This is another outcome. The third outcome is develop a material requirement plan from a bill of materials and master schedule. Do you remember this bill of material, BOM, we used to say, wherein the tree structure we have drawn? In the last semester, I taught you those who have attended automation class. So here, once again, we discuss in detail about that. So we need to develop a material requirement planning. So if a product requires 10 different types of materials, each material when you are going to procure, in how much quantity you are supposed to procure. Okay, that planning is to be so perfect that your production should never suffer because of lack of material. So you will be in a position to develop such a plan at the end of the course, and then determine the optimal sequence and schedule the jobs on a single mission, flow shop. Yes. Yes. So please mute yourself. While responding, you can unmute yourself and you can respond. And the last outcome expected is solve various kinds of problems or issues faced by service and manufacturing industries, like economic consideration, optimum utilization of resources, and productivity. So this outcome we will get by Unit 5, where you will be applying CPM PET techniques to optimize the utilization of the resources and improve the productivity. Okay. Now let me start Unit 1. The title of that is Operations Management. In Unit 1, mainly we discuss 3 parts, as I told you already: production systems, historical development of operations management, and the third one is product design. These are the 3 important topics in Unit 1. So I will give a short break here. If you have any clarification so far, you can ask me before I proceed further.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in the previous session we learned something about production and planning control. Some are similar to the outcomes which is in this course, sir.
Yeah, right. So
Whether
production planning control again becomes a subset of this course, production and operations management. Production and operations management is a broader one. Production planning control is restricted only to the shop floor, where you will plan the activity, which job on which mission, when to process, and how to control the production. Those things you will study in production planning and control. So it doesn't include the other operations of the industry. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other? Okay. So let me proceed. So I'm going to define here production. What is production? Production is the process by which goods or services are created. All of you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
I'm adding the term services. Services in the sense it can be a hospital, or it can be an automobile servicing center, or it can be a restaurant, or whatever it is. Still we name it as production only. They are producing some service. Okay. So production is the process by which goods, that means if tangible products are created, or it can be intangible service. Next, production can also be defined as a means of converting raw material into finished products by performing a set of manufacturing operations in a predetermined sequence. What do you mean by predetermined sequence? One side we are saying it is the process of converting raw material into finished products by performing certain manufacturing operations in a predetermined sequence. That means what is the first operation? What is the second operation? This already have fixed. First I have to do facing operation. Then I may have to do turning operation. Then I may go for step turning. Okay. Then I may go for keyhole operation. So like that, a sequence of operations are there. As per the predetermined sequence only, you have to perform the manufacturing operations. The purpose is to convert raw material into finished products. Okay. Now, here the production can happen in different ways. How? Transformation by disintegration. As already we discussed, production is nothing but transformation. Transformation of raw material into finished product. That is production. So this transformation can happen through disintegration, or transformation can also happen through integration or assembly, or transformation can also be by service. Let me discuss one after the other. Transformation by disintegration, a production which is transformation by disintegration. What do you mean by that? Here, essentially, there is only one ingredient as input. But with this one input, we will get several outputs. Can anybody give me an example? Raw material is only one input, but you are producing several outputs. Any example?
Welding. I mean, raw material is
Welding is a joining process, integration process, or disintegration process? Welding.
It's an integration process.
Yeah, I'm asking about disintegration.
Machining process. Machining process.
Machining process, right? So let me give a few examples. Cast ingots, they can be cut into standard size material. Okay, I have ingots, cast ingots. I can cut them into a standard size material, billets, isn't it? Or this standard size material I can use on machine tools, maybe to develop shafts or bolts, isn't it? Different types of components I can make. I can make a gear. So before you make a gear or a shaft, you are going to use some standard size material, is it or not? You don't want to waste your material. So the cast ingots will be cut into standard size material. You are disintegrating. Then from this standard size material, you are going to develop several components. These components can be different types: pulleys, gears, shafts, bolts, screws, or whatever it may be. Or making components by smithy and forging operations, where the raw material is only one, you are going to develop or produce different components out of it. I can use only one single sheet metal. I can produce number of washers out of it. Sheet metal is the only one input, but I can develop 100 washers from that, isn't it? So this way of producing the products is called as transformation by disintegration. Clear? Next one. Transformation by integration or assembly, wherein several components are inputs, but essentially one product is the output. Can anyone quote the example?
Like making engine design to have many parts no sir will integrate.
Car.
Car, automobile.
Yes.
Good. Anyone? Any other?
Engine.
Engine. Okay.
Phone.
In your day-to-day life, you will see number of such assemblies which are made out of combination of several components.
Mobile phone.
Mobile phone, right?
Automobiles.
Automobiles, okay.
Water bottles.
Electronic gadgets.
Electronic gadgets. Good. So here, mission. Suppose if you take a lathe machine or a milling machine, is it not an assembly? Several components are there in that. You have number of household appliances. It can be a mixer, or it can be an oven, isn't it? Or it can be a geyser. Number of household appliances are the assemblies we have. Automobiles, radio or television sets. These are all developed by transformation by integration or assembly. You are integrating several components into a product. So inputs are many, output is only one product. Then comes transformation by service.
పక్కింటి మనుషులు కాదు వీళ్ళు ఏదేదో అంటారు ఆయన కప్పు తెస్తాను
Yes. 378.
ఎండిపోయిన ఏదో వండుతారు వచ్చి
378. Could you please mute yourself? Transformation by service. So here, virtually no change in the object under consideration is perceptible. But certain operations may be performed to change one of the parameters which define the object. The meaning of that is, we are not actually going to change physical shape of the input, whatever is given to you. Not much change, slight variations may be there, but you are not going to change the entire input, whatever is given to you. You will be making little alterations to that so that it will become a useful product. Let me quote some example. Sizing and coining in press work. You might have studied about sizing and coining. All of you remember that?
Yes, sure.
Do you expect any major change in the physical shape of the object over there? It's a good working process. Pardon? Is there any major change in the shape or the size of the product?
No.
No. Maybe you will be obtaining very close dimensions with the sizing process in pressing work, and coining also. You may be with the press work, you may be embossing some information. Let us say badges or the coins which you develop, when physically you are not changing the object much, only you are giving some impressions with the press work, isn't it? So this is one example. Here, this is transformation by service. You are not exactly machining any object here, in fact, but you are changing slight modifications in the input to make it a useful product. Or it can be servicing or light repairs of automobiles. You are not going to manufacture automobile there or manufacture any component of that. You are just providing servicing, or if there are any repairs, you are doing that. Still, I can consider it as a production because it is transformation by service. Am I clear now? Transformation by service means?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It can be loading and unloading of trucks. Still, I consider it as a production activity. Production doesn't mean always you have to develop a physical product, tangible product. It can be intangible also. It can be transporting from one place to another, which gives place utility. Okay, I may be moving material from one location to another location to have better utilize the space. So all these are only servicing. Apart from this, as I told you already, hospital servicing or restaurant servicing, everything come under this. They're all transformation by service. So we discussed about transformation by disintegration, transformation by integration, transformation by service. All these three come under production only. Whereas manufacturing means only deals with the tangible products. Only first two are covered under manufacturing. The third one is also covered under production. When you put all these three together, that becomes production. Only first two means manufacturing. Are you clear with that now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
let me show at a glance the entire production system. There are inputs. What are the inputs? Men, material, machines, information. Information can be a planning activity or a design. It can be capital, the finance resource required. So all they become inputs in the production shop floor. Now here the transformation is happening. How? Transformation process includes product design, process planning, production control, maintenance. All of them come under transformation process. So output would be products and services. Now here, always there is a feedback. Feedback about what? Once you start developing the products, you always need to monitor what is the existing inventory. Do you have the sufficient raw material? Or do you have sufficient semi-finished products? Or do you have sufficient finished objects to meet the demand? So this inventory you have to always monitor. And then quality. Quality is another feedback. You need to have inspection process for the products. In case of services, you need to take feedback from the customer. So that feedback should always be given. So if the feedback is not satisfactory, then that information should be given to the input. You need to caution the men. Suppose if the material quality is not good, you need to replace the material. If the machine is not working properly, you have to get it repaired or go for the new machine. So all the changes in the inputs you make, depending upon the feedback you will get. And another thing is, what is the cost you are incurring in the manufacturing process? So you need to cut down the cost. So all this feedback information is fed to the inputs, whether to increase the capital or to decrease the capital. So this is the overall picture of the production system. So now, production system has the characteristics like it is an organized activity. So every production system has an objective. What could be the objective of a production system? In any industry, there can be different objectives. What will be the objective? Objective may be increasing
Optimize the performance.
Yeah, performance. That is increasing the productivity. That can be an objective. Okay. Once you improve the productivity, obviously cost will be cut down. Productivity is nothing but how much is the output you are getting for a given input, isn't it? So unless you effectively utilize your resources, your productivity will not improve. So improving the productivity is an objective of your industry. Next, the production system transforms various inputs into useful outputs, whether it is a tangible product or intangible product. And it does not operate in isolation from other organization systems. Production shop floor people, they cannot work isolatedly without being considering other organization systems. Like they need to consult with the marketing department, they need to consult with the finance department, they need to consult with the human resource department, they need to consult with the design department. Unless they consult all these people, production will not be smooth, isn't it? And there exists a feedback about the activities which is essential to control and improve the system performance. So always, as I have shown you the loop, that loop always works, feedback loop. So depending upon the feedback given by the customer, you need to make changes in the inputs so as to effectively develop the products. So this is a brief introduction today, and tomorrow I will discuss about the production systems. Can I have any questions here?
Sir, do every industry have the same objective?
Need not be. It depends upon the type of the industry. It depends on the type of the industry. So like, suppose yours is a hospital. Hospital system will have a different objective function. Isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
ultimately, for any type of production system, customer satisfaction is the ultimate goal. Isn't it? So hospital systems will have a different objective. That means how effectively you are going to offer services to the patients. Okay. And how complex diseases you are going to handle. Your objective may be like your hospital should be the one which can offer any kind of disease treatment. You want to procure such a kind of equipment. All types of facilities, all types of medical facilities you want to provide in your objective, and you are aiming for to become a single source in the city for all the patients, where they can just walk in and undergo treatment.